G'day, guys, and welcome to day 2 of the Melbourne Boat Show. It's probably our last interview for the afternoon, and we've got a special guest, Rayner, on. So, g'day, Lee.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Mate, we've been trying to line you up to come on the show for a little bit, so it's great we've been able to get you while you're down here. You've got a couple of talks on this afternoon. You're going to go through some interesting fishing techniques with the crowd here.
Yeah, I'll sort of be telling them what I do so they know what not to do because it doesn't work for me.
Well, I think it's important we talk about that because we were just saying that we've struggled a bit. Well, we've caught some snapper, but I don't want to put you in the shit here, but you've struggled for... You struggled for the last couple of trips.
I have, yeah.
So it's important to know that even the guns, fishing royalty like Lee here, do sometimes struggle a little bit and not to be disheartened.
I'll be honest. I am every year 3, 4, 5 trips before I catch a snapper. Every year is the same, and it's basically maybe it's a bad mindset that I'm in that I just go. I basically just have to grind through these couple of trips before it all just sort of falls into place.
Yeah.
So, but it's early.
Yeah.
It is an early season. We've had so much rain. There's factors. There's so much weed in Western Port. Like, what's going on there? What is going on?
Oh, we think Dave did his lawns because he lives in Crib Point and he's just put all the clippings down Western Port and it's going up and down the channel.
Back them all into the North Arm and they've made their way around. You know?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I reckon they're following me. It doesn't matter where I go. They just seem to find me.
I saw my apple tree floating past off Coronella the other day, and I thought, oh, how'd that get there? My wife must have been doing some pruning at home.
Yeah.
So,
no, it's serious, but it's exciting. And every year I go, no, I'm not starting early on these snapper. I'm going to wait. And then every year you start early. And even the other day I fished off Lysarts and the wind was blowing and there was weed and I didn't get a bite. And I'm like, that's it, I'm done. No more snapper. 24 hours later, the weather's good. I'm like, I'm going.
Yeah, I think they're the memorable ones, the early season ones, because you got to earn them a little bit more.
Yeah, you do. And I always say, Dave, that in fishing, I reckon it's almost more important to take note of when you don't catch them.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter what it is because it's really easy to go, I caught them on this day and I caught them on that day. But it's easy to forget maybe about those 10 trips in between where you didn't catch them. And if you take note of those periods when you didn't catch them, you can actually work out a lot quicker the periods that you do catch them.
That's right, but we're that dumb that we'll still go during those periods. Yeah, we just do it anyway.
Well, because I've got to prove the theory wrong.
Yeah,
you know what? Every year I go out and do a sneaky trip, and I try to get the first snapper before these guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a competition Adrian runs that we don't know about. Once he's caught the fish, he tells us that it's happening.
It's on. It's on.
So I think that was about September 2nd or 3rd this year. I just went out and got one and said, I've done it, guys. I've won the comp.
Yeah. Hey, on that, do you boys find, like you fish snapper and that in Western Port a hell of a lot more than I do?
Yep.
Do you find that at times that August, September period, the fishing can be, you're not fishing numbers, but it can be even a little bit more consistent. And then you get this bit of a dip through October where it becomes a bit random.
Absolutely.
And then it comes good.
Yeah, I think there's a period here where they're shifting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've loaded up at the top of the bay or the port. And then there's a period here where it's like, I don't know whether I go right up anymore or whether I find them down, say, near Rill.
Yep.
And, like you say, it can be hit and
miss.
miss.
Also when that October rain hits, it actually throws a spanner in the works. You go, where are they going to be now? Because I have no idea.
Yeah.
Do I go here? Do I go there? Let's just anchor up here and try our luck, really.
You know what you do? You jump on YouTube and you type in Lee Rayner's Fishing Edge and you look up his new range of videos he's been putting up.
Yeah.
So one of you.
Yeah, so you wanna.
So we've noticed that recently you've started putting them out. They look really good.
Yeah, just it's just I suppose a how-to to do whatever. And I wanted to just break stuff down that I find it really hard to do a snapper video because you've got so many variables from Port Phillip to Western Port, even Welsh Pool, but to offshore. And I'd rather just break it down into little pieces so you can really lock in on the bit you want to do.
Yeah. So you're looking forward. You're going to do YouTube only, or are you coming back to network television with Fishing Edge?
I don't know with television, mate. It's just
is it dying?
It's finished, isn't it?
I think there's always a market for it. You've got you guys like ET and all that do it so well.
Yeah.
But it's a hard market and it's an expensive market. And the thing I hate about telly, I love telly, but the thing I hate about telly is you throw away so much good footage because a show's 21 minutes 50 long, right? Then you can't, to do a tip on fishing in telly, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You can't stand there and talk about the hows and whys of a rig for 2 minutes, because on television that feels like an eternity.
Yep.
And it's so boring unless you're right into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas I suppose with your YouTube, you've got your target audience. If they're watching it for a reason.
Yeah, they're targeting that niche specifically. So you've already captured their attention.
Yep.
You got something there, Joe?
No, that's the same. That people that lock into YouTube, they're looking for information.
That's right.
Much like podcasts as well. People are wanting information.
That's right. Yeah, that's it. So you've sort of, I suppose, the hard work's done.
Yeah.
You're not to an extent, because whether they're looking at trying to catch a squid on a hand line or catch a marlin on a live bait, if they're looking at that, that's what they're for, and they want that info. And I love getting into that nitty gritty sort of stuff.
Yeah, you were actually just saying that when you're on the stage, we don't want to talk about we don't want to go over what you're going to go over again, but you're going to talk about some different ways to catch fish, stuff like trolling for snapper that maybe people don't think about so often. So I think it's pretty exciting to bring these new techniques into people's lives.
Yeah, and look, there's so many. I think I just get bored with doing the same. You know, I'm one of those guys.
We're the same.
Yeah. I could never just do snapper and whiting, and not that I don't love them, but there's just so much other stuff out there to do. But even my snapper, I love fishing in Welsh pool for them, just because it's a little bit different to here. I love catching them offshore because it's a little bit different to in the bay. And then if I can mix it up in other techniques like trolling for snapper or jigging, then it makes it. I think it just keeps it exciting.
Yeah. So what does the fishing calendar look like going forward for you moving into the new year?
My biggest problem is trying to focus. I reckon I got ADHD or something, but
you're sitting next to the right man there.
Yeah, but it's all of a sudden everything comes good, and I want to be up the coast spinning big flathead, and I want to be catching snapper and doing kings, but then the marlin. So I really have to stop and focus, and the work that I'm doing now, the bonus is I have to make content, so I have to make smart decisions and stuff that's appealing to people, but not only that, stuff that's going to work instead of just chasing unicorns around the ocean all the time.
Well, we've done that, and it does put pressure on you, and then you go, you know what, I've got to try and make a snapper video now.
That's
just
right.
To try and get content out, and then you fail on the snapper, and it's just doom and gloom.
Yeah, and then you start to make bad decisions.
Yes.
Then you start to go, I need to get something, so you start just chasing your tail. But look, the next few months will be snapper and snapper because it's what we do.
People are bloodthirsty for it.
They are. Every year you go, snapper, I'm not doing snapper again next year. And then every spring.
Next minute
you're in the garage.
Adrian did a snapper video last week, and you should see the channel subscribe.
Yeah, just skyrocketed, yeah. That's the bread and butter fishing for Melbourne. Like 99% of anglers in Melbourne, they're snapper fishers. They dust off the gear late August and go, I'm going snapper fishing.
Yeah.
That's right. I dusted off my Saragosas earlier in the week, and they still had squid on them from last
year. Yeah.
Put straight in the boat, and away we go.
We were getting all sentimental before, Lee. We were talking about the tea tree snapper competition, how we all used to just love that competition back in the day.
It was just what you lived for, wasn't it? It was just, but it was different back then. Remember when you can go fishing midweek and there was no boats?
Yeah.
We were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. Like a couple of years ago, you'll never see people at the boat ramp in the middle of winter on a beautiful day.
No.
Well, I think we both caught each other having a sneaky midweek fish the other day, didn't we?
Yeah. We did. Like,
there's Lee.
There was actually guys setting their boat up on the ramp.
Yeah.
Arrogantly setting it up on the ramp.
I did say to Adrian, he said, that's all right, there's no one else here. And
that's
then here's poor Lee. No, it's all right, because you took about an hour to take your precious cover off your boat, mate.
He had his winter cover on, and there was a couple of leaves still on it, so lucky he had it on.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to get cold.
Hey, Lee, what sort of boat are you running at the minute?
I've got two.
Yep.
I've still got my big Haynes, but I've got the little 481 Crossfire Stacer, and I modded it out. I had to tweak it and put my bit into it. So casting deck at the front. It's got that nice flat transom for bait fishing out of and stuff. Twin live wells in the back, one in the front. And I'll be honest. So I checked the other day. It uses no fuel. It's got a 90 Merc on the back. And the other day, so I've had it now for 10 months. I've put 835 litres of fuel through it.
Wow.
How many hours is that?
That's already well over 100 hours.
Just mistake me if I'm wrong, did you go tuna fishing with that boat?
Yeah. I've done a couple of days off Port Mac. I've done out of Woolamai in it. It's a really capable boat. And to give you an idea, when I first got it, one of the first things we did, we went down to Welsh Pool, went to White Rock chasing kings. Water was crap. Kept pushing, looking elsewhere, did everything. It was crap. The boys were over it. So we came all the way back in, chucked the kingy rods out of the boat, grabbed the estuary rods, chucked them in, and went and caught estuary perch for the afternoon.
Do you find yourself going to that smaller boat more than the bigger boat these days?
100%.
Yeah. It's funny how that happens. We've got a similar.
Yeah, we've got the
thing.
420, and that's the go-to boat.
It is.
Tuna, barrels,
it's
whatever.
easy.
I was thinking of getting rid of my small boat, but
No.
now I'm going to repower it. It's just so easy.
It's so
Less
easy.
stress.
It's cheap. It's just, I'm happy to go for 2 or 3 hours on those I might catch a fish trips.
Yeah.
And it's made me love fishing again because I'm just going. I'm getting more dialed in, except on snapper. But
you'll get there.
I'm getting, but you get dialed in. You just go, I know I need to be here now, and then I need to be there because you're going more often.
Yeah.
If I was in the big boat, I wouldn't be doing all these trips, and you go, I should go, but it's a little bit windy. And what if I don't catch one? And I'm still going to burn 80 litres of fuel, and you just don't do it.
Yeah. So what's your favourite addition to your boat? You said you've set it up pretty extensively.
Yeah.
What's the little thing that you have in that boat that maybe the average fisher might not have thought to put in there?
Lots of rod holders.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man, the electric is so good on it. I use that all the time.
Yeah.
I use the electric for my anchor whiting fishing. In the big tides, I still use the anchor. But just there's so many parts to that boat that work, but probably the thing that makes that boat the most is
the motor.
The motor. Tends to make it.
You need that. Yeah.
Yeah. Making it center console.
Yep.
Center
Is
console.
your side console?
No,
or-
center.
Center, yeah.
No,
I reckon
modded it.
center is better.
Mate, it just the weight's in the middle. It just works. You can shuffle people around when you're
Yes.
traveling. You just always get a great ride out of it. That is the biggest thing with that boat. 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that because after catching almost 100 tuna out of my little 420 Renegade,
I'll talk yourself up, mate.
no, we have. It's probably caught over 100
you're right.
tuna,
You have,
and
but just
the side console makes it so difficult because you can only fight on one side of the boat.
Yeah, and look, I get why guys like that in their estuary or their cod situations and stuff. But, guys go, I've got that room to move down one side of the boat. And I go, yeah, but I've got room to move down two sides.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, it just the ride. And it's different if you're in a lake or an estuary. But we're making our little boats do stuff they probably shouldn't be doing. Not that they can't handle it, but they were never designed to be tuna fishing offshore.
No,
let's be honest.
absolutely not.
But they do it very well. So center console would probably be the key element of that boat.
And that's definitely my next boat, center console.
Yep.
What about a pie oven? You got one of them?
In the big boat, I do.
Oh,
I've
Gotta
got
get
one in the little boat.
They take a long time to warm up. I'm just going to say that.
Hey,
Is there a way
Joey?
to supercharge them?
there actually is.
No, well, there's a method you can supercharge it. What you do is you buy pies from the bakery that are already warm and you set it on low setting and you can grab it any time of the day and you're ready to go.
When you can tell me where to get a pie from at 2 a.m.
Well, that's when you turn it on, the oven on as soon as you launch.
Your friendly
I'm
7-Eleven.
just going to keep an eye on where you're fishing and I'll come up next to you and grab your pies.
Well, you'll smell us.
My
Yeah.
best business idea was during Melbourne Snapper season is to have
Caram Artificial.
Caram Artificial. You have got a barbecue and you're just selling $5 snags and you just go from
Oh,
boat
how
to
easy would
boat.
it be?
But
No.
you need an electric trolling motor just to sneak up on the anglers and
Yeah.
You just sit upwind of people, get the onions going, and get the water
Oh, yeah.
smell
Oh, yeah.
back down. Be
Yeah.
like a burley truck.
Mate, they do that in Sydney Harbour,
I've
Really?
seen it, yeah.
Big pontoon boats and they sell ice creams and all that stuff.
Oh,
And,
wow.
well, because they've got all the bays there, it doesn't matter where the wind's blowing. You go into a protected bay, and there'll be 50 boats, and old mate just comes around the corner in his pontoon boat, and he's got his food, and everyone just it's like flies. Seriously,
Yeah.
everyone's just straight at
Oh,
him.
we were out there middle of summer and the ice cream
Yeah.
boat came past.
Yeah, it's
and,
unbelievable.
mate, we were on him like a barrel on a Lumos boat.
Yeah.
Like explosive eating going on.
Yeah.
so maybe we shouldn't try pioneer trolling for snapper. Maybe we should pioneer the sausage sizzle in Port Phillip Bay.
Yeah.
I think it'd be more productive.
Yeah, although it'd be, those days when it's 20 knots out on the bay and you're trying to hand on matey sausage. It'll be a bit interesting.
Pioneer the pie.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So Lee, you're working at Melbourne Marine Centre
Yep.
a little bit these days.
Yep.
Sorry, mate. You're right.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah,
No,
at Melbourne.
He's ordering an Uber.
No, I
I
know
know
you-
for my daughter.
I know you said you might have had to order an Uber, and I didn't want to interrupt you.
No.
there, but yeah.
So Melbourne Marine helped the boys out there in between doing my other stuff.
Yeah.
Plus, I've just done my big thing with Anaconda.
Yes.
And that's where all this stuff really, I suppose, spawned from. So, and that my stuff with them is really that building content for them.
Yeah.
And on the side, I do my thing as well. So, and the best thing about it, the best thing, fellas, about this is it's non-brand funded.
Yep.
If Anaconda stock it, I can use it.
Incredible.
So you get to genuinely use what you need to use.
Yep.
And what you like
and
to
you don't
use.
have to flog off items that you don't want or need.
Just if I'm using that hook, I'm using that hook because that's the right hook to use.
Exactly.
You know, or that lure. It's really exciting to do that. You know, really, really exciting.
Yeah, that goes back to the YouTube side of things. You're a lot less restricted that way. I mean, talking to ET before, I mean, let's be honest, people get stuck in him because he can come across as a little bit of an advert sometimes, but he literally needs to do that because to be on that network is costing.
People don't understand what it costs to make telly.
Yeah, mega bucks.
Huge dollars. Like you pay the network just to get on.
Yes.
Just to be there, you know, and then people go, what do you mean? You go, like literally, they go, yeah, we'd love to have your show.
Yeah.
But it's going to cost you this much. Yeah. And you go for the series and they go, no, per show.
Yep.
Oof.
And then there's no guarantee of a good time slot. So, you know, it's not an easy gig. And then everyone's like, how do you make your money? You go, well, you try and raise your money through sponsors, but then you've got to take your running costs out of that as well, plus your editing and filming. And then you've got equipment. And then you've got to hope at the end that there's stuff left over for you. But then, as you guys all know, fishing doesn't always go like clockwork. And you go, we're going to go out and film a snapper show today. And then it doesn't work today. And then you miss out tomorrow. And then you go, do we go third time lucky? Mind you.
And you strike out.
Mind you, you're paying a cameraman or your crew a daily rate.
Oh.
So it's not an easy.
It adds up.
Yeah.
I never forget my aunties and uncles. I used to watch Rex Hunt as a kid, and he had it down to a fine art, his fishing show, and they used to tease me. They said, oh, you know, Rex Hunt, he catches a fish, he puts it on the hook, and then they roll the camera.
Mate, making fishing telly is not, well, when you're making, it's like anything. When it's good, it's great. And when it's hard, it's hard.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, we've got a couple of questions on the live feed here.
Yep.
Flicking with Oz wants to know, what's your best memory from when you were doing Adventure Bound?
Great series, by the way.
Lots of good memories because that was when I first got to, I suppose, do that stuff that you really wanted to do. You know, nuts and bolts and just different stuff.
Neil, he was a great angler, wasn't he?
Neil was a great angler. Great angler. Yeah.
It was actually my old boss's neighbour, next door neighbour,
really?
down in Carrum there, Patterson Lakes.
Yeah. But I'll be honest too, Clarkey, the cameraman, massive part of it. And to make that show, you got to have a guy like Clarkey who's happy to do the dud trips to make the really good stuff.
Yeah.
And you got to understand that to make some of the really good stuff we made on Adventure Bound, you couldn't actually do that on a normal network because the days we put in till we got it, it wasn't viably an option on proper telly.
Yeah.
But like we caught big kings at Cape Lip Trap. You know, big kings on top water, like 16 kilo fish. And we got, I don't know. I mean, Neil did big kings at JB and they did Port Augusta. And I always said to Andrew, I'm never going back. We're never filming JB or Port Augusta because that was Neil's thing.
That was his legacy.
We're never doing that. So I did my thing, you know, my marlin, and we did big tuna. Probably the first jumbo I got. That was probably one of the, I suppose, highlights.
With Quinny.
With Quinny, off Port Fairy. And then
Quinn.
Yeah.
My neighbour Quinn, down at the factory.
Oh, he was your neighbour?
Oh, yeah.
But like things like that. And as that was a classic example of just when it goes right.
Yeah.
Like we'd heard there was jumbos. Quinny was up in Burmie. I was supposed to be going up there. My boat was already up there. They'd caught nothing. I'm like, dude, the jumbos are on a Port Fairy. Get back. And this is at 5 in the Arvo.
And that would have been a shock back then, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It was like big news.
Yeah. And then so he drove back. We got down there. At some stupid hour in the morning, he'd had no sleep. We put the boat in the water, drove out, 8 a.m., saw this work up. Everyone was going through it. We made one pass, bang, got him on.
Oh, how good.
You know, just one of those ones where it went our way.
Yeah.
Same thing, Apollo Bay, when that cubing thing happened, drove out there. We'd heard about this big reef. Didn't even know where it was. Just went, that looks like it.
It's just after Little Reef.
Yeah, it's just around the corner.
Yeah, the twin engine boat. I remember that.
Yeah. So literally drove out to this brief looking thing on the GPS, got out there and went, well, there's a heap of birds over there, drove over and fish busting and threw some cubes in, and Quinny got his big one. Like,
Yeah.
You know, there was lots of those sorts of moments with Adventure Bound. There was lots of stuff ups that you didn't see.
Yeah.
When I dumped the boat on the beach at Walkerville.
Oh, that's all right, as long as it's not concrete.
When I nearly lost my 200 Series Land Cruiser on the beach at Walkerville.
Hey, south or north?
I've done that.
I've flooded my Honda CRV launching the tinny off that beach at Walkerville South.
Really?
There.
It's a dangerous beach.
Oh, south or north, Joey?
North's the caravan park. I think south's
Yeah,
like the
south.
soft-
Where I've had the
South's the-
whoopsies.
Yeah, south's the sand like beach without a bar thing going on.
I
That's
still
the
got
one
that
that you
car.
can't launch it anymore, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they closed that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That was the Sergi one.
Yeah.
That's where I got full bogged.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
See, there you go. 3 people you've been bogged at
Yeah.
Walkerville South. There you go.
You were in a CRV, you deserved it.
Yeah, what are you doing beach launching in that?
So Lee, you had this golden tag program. Did
Yep.
anyone actually win?
There was a lot of fish caught.
There
Yeah.
was,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. There's still fish out there that are up for money. But
So what the major prize, did that get taken?
No, it was like $1 million prize money. Is that right? Something like that.
Yeah.
And the first 10 fish were 10,000
Yeah,
each.
I think something like that.
That all went off in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I actually caught one of the tag fish when I was doing the tagging.
Did you get $10,000?
Wasn't allowed.
You should have just slipped us the tag.
Oh man, I'm like caught a flathead and I'm like, it's got a tag in it. And they're like, it doesn't matter.
Put
get
it
rid of
back.
Get rid of it. But yeah, it's been a huge success, and it really did give a boost to those economies.
Target
after-
1 million.
Yeah, but it was after the bushfires. It was
Yep.
to get people back to those towns, and it really did give a huge injection to those towns. And there was actually a lot of people that went. I went to the BEM to try and catch a tagged fish and win some money, and I did.
Yeah.
There's quite a
There
few
you
of those
go.
stories.
That's incredible.
Yeah, quite a few.
I think one guy caught 2.
Really?
We were talking about it a few weeks ago. Two of the brim, wasn't it?
Yeah, he did actually. Yeah.
And
I think one was at 10,000 and one was 1,000 or something. I can't remember.
That's pretty good.
either
yeah.
way, it was pretty cool money. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny how fishing
For a
can-
brim. Would
Yeah.
you go brim fishing, Dave?
Oh mate, I'd love to, but I'm too busy.
I'm
showing-
busy.
Yeah.
Mowing my lawns.
Yeah. Too busy blowing my lawns into Western Port. I've been actually saying, Adrian, I want to go perch fishing.
Perch.
He keeps dragging me snapper fishing.
Perch are the best.
Yeah.
I love
Little
it.
barramundi.
Yeah, because it's always windy and we want to be up against the mangroves but I like snapper fishing in the wind.
Yeah. Well, you're on your own then.
I'd rather be up a sandfly ridden mangrove creek out of the wind. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just itching your weekend through.
Yeah,
Like
that's it.
scratching.
Yeah.
You want? Doesn't the wind blow the sandflies away?
No.
It does actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Best time
Oh,
to go perch fishing is when it's windy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
have you found it interesting the way the fisheries developed in Victoria? You're talking about that
Oh.
barrel at Port Fairy before. Like you could tell me right now, there's barrels at Port Fairy. I go, yeah, cool. Like,
I'm not driving all the way down there.
they're everywhere else too.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I came from New South Wales, grew up in the Snow Mountains, moved to Sydney, worked for Shimano when I finished year 12.
Yep.
Came to Victoria for work when I was 21, going,
It sucks.
get me the hell out of this joint. Hated it. And I always said the day I can catch marlin in Victoria, it'll be okay.
Eh.
I've caught about 15 of them down
Yep.
here now. So,
Oh, good effort.
and you look at our fishery from what it was just when I moved here, which was in the early 2000s, to what it is now. It's unbelievable.
Do you think it's
literally-
always been there, or do you think it's
No,
more so than
I think it's got
information
better.
sharing?
No, I think it's got better. There's no doubt. I don't care. There is more kingfish now than there was 20 years ago because they were nearly extinct 20 years ago. There
Yeah.
was none. I remember we had some follow a squid jig off Mornington years ago, little rats, and people didn't believe us because there'd been no kings. And then you look, the only place you found kings was, say, at Portland.
Yeah.
Right. And it was for a couple of weeks of the year. And then all of a sudden there was just more kings and there was rats and then there was more here and then there was more there. And there never used to be kings at White Rock.
No,
So
I know because I actually went there with Kev Bahaja in like early days.
Yeah.
And you'd only ever heard rumors.
yeah, that's it. So there used to be a lot of big kings in Victoria. They got smashed by traps and whatnot. The numbers of kings are 100% better. Our snapper fishing numbers are so good. We know just through stats or through science. Jumbos, they haven't always been there.
No.
Not in these numbers.
No.
Swords would have always been there.
Yeah.
Just that we've been fishing for them.
Yeah. The technology and the motors got better for people to
That's it.
And just people wanting to extend their boundaries and try something different, as Lee was saying.
Yeah.
You like to try something different, and people are getting whacked with their blue eyes and go, "Oh, what's this big line in my blue eye?"
That's it. Yeah.
And they go, "Oh, must be a sword. Let's try for a sword."
That's it. It just sort of evolved. So, but there is no doubt, and I'm sure it's all swings and roundabouts. We'll have crap snapper seasons and good whiting seasons and vice versa. But I think our pelagic fishery is 100%. Like, look at our bluefin in summer.
World class.
Like, but also you go, summer bluefin, top water, average fish, 20 plus kilos. Like, some of them are up to 40s.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to go and catch schoolies in June down the west coast, like normal, they're 10.
I love it. Why
but we
would
used
you
to
bother?
do that. We used to do that, didn't we? We used to drive to the horseshoe, blowing 20 knots, freezing cold, catch 10 kilo bluefin and go, mate, I had the best day.
You put out
or you drive down 8 hours to Burmese and go to the second shelf to catch them.
Oh, yeah. A couple of my mates who live up the coast, they're like, there's bluefin out of, Burmese. You should come up. I'm like,
yeah, they're out here.
I went, I got a jumbo at Port Mac a few weeks ago. From when we landed it to when we got to the breakwall, it was 5 minutes.
Yeah, 20 meters or whatever.
Yeah, I go, it was 23 meters of water where we got it. I ain't driving to Bermagui to drive 75 Ks offshore. Sorry.
Yeah, they must freak out, those guys up there, when they see
they
us.
can't believe it.
Yeah, we're in 20 meters and stuff.
Well, it was 2 days in a row this year at Port Fairy. The first day, got a barrel and I used 16 litres of fuel. The next day, we used 19.
There you go. Yeah. The thing that the boys can't believe, and it's always funny when someone comes down from New South Wales to chase our jumbos, because they're like, so many people say, why are you guys fighting them for 2 hours? And why they come down, every single one of them, they get a fish. They just go, what is going on with those
and you're
things?
like, cop that. You
go, cop that. Exactly. Go, I told you. It's just because they're in shallow water and there's so much food. They're just big fat pigs waiting for a fight.
I love when we used to chase those school fish at Portland in winter, and you had your full set of 50 wides out.
Oh, yeah.
And you'd go through a pack and your reel would like creak off. It wouldn't take off, just creak off.
Just a creak.
Just creak off. Or you just look back and the tips bent a bit. You're like,
and you're yahooing.
Yeah.
How'd you hear that creak?
But it's just how it's changed, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking with those kingfish, it's interesting that the guys up at Sydney are saying their stock's been a bit depleted. It makes you wonder if our stock seems to be recovering, if it's just there's more bait and stuff down our way and the fish are hanging out where we are a bit longer.
Yeah, well, there's no need for the fish to leave here.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But I'm full of theories, fellas.
Oh, yeah. Hit us with them. We want to know.
They're all crap. But
they're all crap. But take notes,
they
guys.
sound really good. I reckon kings come to Victoria to get big.
Oh.
That's my
With
theory.
the freshwater nutrients?
The cold water.
Yeah.
High protein diet, squid, all that sort of stuff.
Barber perch.
Heaps of barber perch. Love them. But you look at our kings, they carry a lot of weight down here. Like our kings are 100% heavier. You get a meter king here, he's heavier than a meter king up even Bermagui and all that. When you get our kings in summer, they've got that fat around their stomach, which indicates they live in cold water.
Yeah.
And I reckon they probably go back and forth, but I reckon those bigger fish, they just hang here. They probably go down the bottom of the prom around those bottom islands where we don't go during the cold months because you can't, because it's too windy and too rough. But it's full of currents, full of squid.
Yeah.
They're there.
Well, our mate Jonah from Tassie works for fisheries there, very good angler.
Yep.
King Island the other day when all the whales got stranded. But anyway, he was talking to the locals. And they were just saying, oh, yeah, we get, 16, 18 kilo kings off the beach all the time.
And what they do, they go to one little rock wall edge there, and they wait for the kings to swim by it. Everyone that knows fishing, they go down with their poppers on their rods and just cast poppers at them. And, everyone might get one as soon as they swim past. Yeah. It's incredible fishery.
Yeah, it's just, and that's why I reckon they just live in these areas. There's so much food. Like so much food for them.
You know why they all get them there? Because they're not all on Facebook like here. And the fish don't get hammered by 1,000 people.
That's right.
They don't have super group chats going on, do they?
Yeah.
You part of any super group chats for fishing?
Nah, I'm the guy that
you and Joel.
I'm the guy that everyone's like, oh, did you see that? I'm like, no, what?
Yeah.
Here, look at this. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah, it's like I was saying to you before. I was talking to Aaron about the bluefin, and he was saying, there's still quite a few around down our way, and I was like, oh, really?
Yeah. And you know what? I did make a bit of a thing a while ago where I went, I've got to stop listening. And yes, it's great to have that on tap info, but I was also getting too wrapped up in it. you know, because you go, oh, I'm going to go for the snapper, but Dave got him at Coronella, but then he got him one off Lysarts, and then someone got one down at Silver Leaves, and you just do your head in.
Yeah.
And I've started to say, no, I just put my fishing brain back in and starting to think about things a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, that I know there's snapper in the port, and I know there's fish at Coronella and there's fish at Lysarts. I just got to work out where to be when.
That's right. Yeah.
Timing and location.
That's right.
Winger always taught us timing and location.
It's just time. And it's time and timing. And it's just, and you got to back yourself a bit too. I think you got to, like, I think the trouble is too, when you sit there and even if you're fishing and you're looking at other reports that are happening, then you start to think I should be over there or should I be down here? And you're possibly missing potentially catching fish if you just stayed where you were.
Yeah. That's like sometimes you're out fishing for the jumbos, the barrels, and you kind of want to turn your radio off because you're like, someone's hooking up here and there, and you're like, I'm 40 Ks. I'm 40 Ks away from them. That's not helping me.
Yes.
I just need to be left to find another patch on my
That's
own.
right. Yeah. Or you found a patch that looked good, it fizzled out, and you go, it still looks good, but then you heard he's hooked on 5 Ks away. So then you wandered down to him only to find out that you found out this guy's now just hooked up. Where's he? He's right back where we were. He is exactly where we just left. Whereas if we just kept to ourselves and did our thing, that would have been us.
It's so funny at Portland. There's always that guy. We've all raced out first light, and like by about 1 p.m. we're all down at Bridgewater or something. An old mate just loads up, comes out at 1 p.m. Puts his lures in behind the rock.
Yeah, got him on.
Triple on barrels.
That's normally Dutchy, isn't it? I'm on a double.
Oh, you catch him anyway. That
Mate, that guy.
He's a remorseless barrel catching machine.
Hey, he's one of the best.
Mate, we were at Port Mac.
3-rod spread.
When we were at Port Mac last time, literally we got
Dutchy on a double.
We got out there and we've been fishing in the morning and we pitched on a few balls and seen jumbos, whatever. And about 10 o'clock, Dutchy just comes trundling up. How you going, Dutchy? He goes, I had a bit of a late start this morning. And it's like, oh, yeah. Have you seen anything yet? He goes, yeah, I got one on the way out. He goes, yeah, I was just heading out like 8:30, saw 2 seals. And he goes, oh, I thought they'd be red bait, so I'll scoop some red bait. As I got near him, 2 jumbos bust up. He goes, I only had frozen red bait, so I'm there trying to jam the hook through a frozen red bait. He goes, I got the hook through one, threw it in the water, and it got eaten before I could get the wine off the rod. And we're like, of course you did, Dutchy.
Yeah, like Rebecca is one of the greatest fishermen.
Yeah,
he is remarkable.
Well, he tagged his 50th solo bluefin that trip,
and they would all be barrels too.
Yeah, all barrels. Yeah.
He's one of those guys where it's like some people you think, oh, he just fishes a lot.
No.
But you think with him, it's like every time he goes, he does get him. So it wouldn't matter.
He misses out a lot too, man. And when he stayed with us and he goes, Lee, he goes, it might look like I do. He goes, but I still do my days.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. But mate, I hate every time Dutchy comes near me. You're marlin fishing. He's done heaps at Eden. You know, you're marlin fishing. You got a good bit of bait. You've marked a fish or two, and you're working them and working them and working them. And then Dutchy comes out of nowhere and he comes trundling past, and he's got him on. And like, of course.
Just like was with Dave at Portland. We put an upload of a video. We caught a barrel at Anzac Day weekend, and Dave's just yelled out. I think it might have come on camera. He's like, Dutchy on again. He's seen the outrigger popped up straight, just losing his mind.
Yeah, he's a machine.
Yeah, 40 baits working in this little patch.
Do you know what he does? Do you know what Dutchy does to catch fish?
He sounds them and just spins around on them.
He just goes, "Oi, get here." He has a very, very, very simple program. He doesn't deviate from it. He doesn't worry about what everyone else is doing. He knows what he uses that catches the fish, and he sticks to it, and he does his thing. And that is like when you look at what he does, everyone thinks he's got some magical bloody things happening. He's very methodical, very, very simple, and just sticks to it, and that's how he catches them.
Absolutely. Now I know you probably are getting a little bit short on time, but I thought we might touch. I thought we might touch briefly on your. I think what is your favourite? Would I be right in saying the swordfish?
Yeah, I love them.
So you were there in the early days along with us actually, and you with Richie, you got those couple of fish off Malakuta.
Yeah, we've got 3 in 2 days.
Yeah, I know. I saw you.
Yeah. Oh, you did actually. Yeah, sorry.
Do you know what happened? I was down at Eaglehawk Neck, and I'd actually caught a barrel that day with Jonah, and then I got a call. And it's like, Richie and Lee just got a sword, and I'm like, oh yeah. So I'm like, I book a flight. I got back from Tassie at about 11 p.m., pulled in the drive, hooked the boat up. Next morning, we're at Malakuta launching.
Yeah.
So I was delirious that day.
He did tell me that you left him that night with a large bluefin tuna to clean on his own, and
like,
pull it out of the boat on his own and everything.
Send me the fillets, mate.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was great because I got to take some photos of your fish for you.
Yeah. Mate, that was exciting.
Yeah.
That was a thing that you go, I never thought it would happen. I'd already caught a sword. I'd already caught one doing the traditional night fishing on Sydney. I'd tagged the first Australian line class broadbill in Australia.
Well done.
But I never thought I would catch one daytime.
Yes.
I just thought that's just ridiculous. And it was a cool story. We went marlin fishing, water was crap. And then Richie's like, we're going out to Malakuta. We're taking swordie gear. I'm like, shut up, Richie. And we did. He brought the squid and we did the thing. We're marlin fishing. It was no good. And on the way up the coast, we're looking at obviously your GPS and found this bit of bottom and, this contour. And we're like, this looks good. And then we were way north and then we were sick of it. And we're like, oh, Richie's like, let's have a sword drop. He goes, oh, I might be right here. I said, nah, if we're doing it, and that was my part of the party, we're doing it properly. We're running the 14 Ks back to that bit that you said was good. Richie said it looked good. So that's where we're going. We went back. We had a big brick that we stole from the rock we stole from the boat ramp. We sent the bait down, cracked the weight off, literally like gunned the boat, cracked the weight off, and then Jules has pulled the boat off the plane and Richie goes, we're bit. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we're bit, look at the rod tip. And it's like done this micro whiting bite.
Yeah.
Like, you're an idiot.
That's so true.
We're like, you're an idiot. And he's like, no, it's a sword. That's a sword. And I'm like, you're an idiot. And he goes, and he's like, he's on. We got him on. I started fighting this thing. Here we go. Got it to the top and it popped to the top. Like, I reckon about half an hour before we got it, I felt the hook pull, like that full, like actually felt the hook bounce out.
Ugh.
And then when it popped up, the hook had caught it in the side.
Oh, wow.
And he was cooked. But when it's popped to the top, it was about 20 meters out. And I swear to this day, I'm like, it's a stingray. It just had this weird ass shaped brown thing bent like a banana. I'm like, I've caught some dirty oceanic stingray that I've fought
Sunfish.
for 2 hours, right? And then I'm like, Richie's like, it's a sword. I'm like, oh, it's a sword. And so that's how it started. And then we went back the next day and we caught 2 more. Do you know the best thing about that though, Dave?
Yeah.
We caught all 3 of those swords on the same squid.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We just kept stitching it up, just sending it
A
back
lucky
down.
squid.
Yeah.
Funny enough, that day you say you were looking for marlin. The day we were out there, when you were, we actually came on a bait ball and had like 4 marlin.
Really?
Yeah. And I had no bait. So I threw a squid with a Lumo skirt over it at these marlin.
Oh, really?
And they just scoffed at me and kept swimming. So, yeah, it's crazy what you see out there and it's crazy the way the fishery is developed. So
it is. Yeah. And that year, the swordie fish was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh, man, we weren't going fishing in the end going, I hope we get a bite. We're like, how many bites are we going to get today?
I know. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, it was stupid.
Yeah. Do you think that the stock's depleted a little bit since then?
I think you look at New Zealand, like they've had good years and they've had bad years. We're still so fresh into it.
Yeah.
You see when we've had great bites, Tassie hasn't. This year, Tassie had a good bite. We didn't. It's all swings and roundabouts. New Zealand had an unbelievable bite this year.
Yes.
Like, you couldn't not catch fish and they were big.
Yep.
Hopefully this next one's ours,
That sounds good. I look forward to that.
I look forward to driving 3 hours out to a canyon.
You go get them and
I
then
love it.
you go do it and then give us a call.
I don't want to wind them in.
Yeah.
No, you go drive, drop your bait and call us when you hooked up and I'll come wind it in.
I always say to guys, it's pretty funny now, like say myself, Joel Ryan, Julian Coyne, like we all sort of fish together and that. Bob Hers. Bob's the one who works on the rigs, and he's like, Bob's a great source of info when there's marlin around.
Yep.
But with 4 grown men standing there watching a rod tip, we've all done it.
Yes.
For this stupid bite, right? And you're like, whoop, there he is. But what happens is 4 grown men step backwards.
Yes. We're like, I'm not hooking it.
There
I'm
he
not
is.
touching it.
Or you step up and then you like sort of go, oh, you're winding. And then when you get him on, you're like the rod buckled over, line starts to come off the reel. You go, yeah, he's on. And you just walk away.
It's a lot of line to collect, isn't it?
It is. And it all sounds like fun at the start, but 3 hours into it, it's not.
We get nibbles and we're like, I don't even know what to do anymore.
It's like, do I wind into it? Do I
Yeah.
drop it down a bit? Do I aggravate him?
Yeah.
What do I do?
Yeah, I know.
So what's your biggest sword out there now?
200.
200?
But we had one on there for 5.5 hours. When I say we, Joel, he had it on and he had serious heat on this fish for 5.5 hours. and we've got the spot marked as Gigantor because in 5 hours we never saw it.
Yes.
We never got it closer than about 50 meters.
Might have been a stingray.
It could have been, but this one ate the bait on the way up on the drill.
Right.
It was like,
Oh, wow.
mate, it was like a tuna bite. We were checking the bait, and Giles just flat stick on the drill, going, winding it up, mate. This thing has eaten it like a tuna. Like,
Yeah,
unbelievable.
You've got the real winding attachment on the drill.
It blew the drill off. Like Giles,
Wow.
the drill just went, nearly got blown out of his hand, and this thing, it let rip. Like it dumped 300 meters like a tuna.
You'd hate to drop a drill in the water, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah.
Who's done that?
Yeah.
And a phone as well, Dave.
Lucky
and a phone. Yeah,
Lucky I own about 10 or 12 different drills, and he's just lost one of my brand new Makitas with a brand new battery. And I go, that's just $600 in
Look,
the
mate,
ocean.
I've put bricks down there, I've put a phone down there with a credit card, and I've put a drill down there.
So
the
we're
fish
ready to
can
build a house now.
That's right.
We've got a credit card to
That's
order more materials. We've got bricks down there. We've got hammers. We've got drills.
Yeah.
We're ready to go.
Can you bring a power saw?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're building habitats for the future.
That's right.
Yeah, well, I think that about wraps us up, Legs. I think you've got to go off to your,
better do
your big
it.
stage talk. We might even pop down.
No, don't.
And I think we'll heckle
Do you
you.
reckon we should get the stage around here tomorrow? Like around here?
Oh, you can if you want, because I'm not here.
Oh, okay.
Charlie might come and find us. That's his stage, you know that.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So, no, thank you for having me, guys.
No worries. Pleasure to have you on.
It's awesome
a lot of
having you
fun.
on.
And if you
Lot of
want to watch more of Lee's later stuff, he's just put heaps of informative footage up on his YouTube, Fishing Edge. So jump on there and have a look at it.
So
Thank you,
you
guys.
wanna check it out?
Thanks, fellas. That was fun.
Thanks,
Hey,
mate.
Lee.
Easy.
Very good.
Easy. Anytime if you